In recent months, the Russian military has found itself forced into a reactive posture following a series of highly effective Ukrainian drone strikes targeting Russian airbases far behind the front lines. Among the most notable consequences of these attacks has been Russia's accelerated effort to build protective shelters for its advanced Su-57 stealth fighters and other critical aircraft at key military airfields, including the strategically important Aktubinsk base. This effort marks a significant departure from Russia's previous approach, which relied heavily on dispersed open-air parking and minimal physical protection for aircraft, revealing an urgent recognition of the serious vulnerabilities exposed by Ukrainian drone warfare. The catalyst for this shift was a well-coordinated Ukrainian drone operation launched in early June 2025, codenamed Spiderweb, which involved swarms of relatively inexpensive, long-range drones penetrating Russian airspace and striking at multiple Russian military airfields, including those deep within Russia's own territory, some as far as 600 kilometers from active combat zones. This operation resulted in the destruction or severe damage of over 40 Russian aircraft, including several Su-57 stealth fighters, Tu-95 strategic bombers, and A-50 airborne early warning and control aircraft. The attack inflicted not only material losses but also significant psychological damage to the Russian military, shattering any illusions of immunity within their rear area bases and calling into question the overall security of Russia's air power assets. The damage wrought by these drone strikes has laid bare fundamental weaknesses in Russia's air defense systems, which have historically emphasized defending frontline positions rather than interior military installations. Despite decades of investment in layered air defense networks, including advanced surface-to-air missile systems like the S-400, Russia has struggled to counter the new generation of low-cost, low-signature drones employed by Ukraine. These drones exploit gaps in radar coverage and overwhelm defensive systems designed primarily for larger, faster targets like aircraft or cruise missiles. As a result, even heavily guarded bases are vulnerable to these asymmetric attacks, putting some of Russia's most expensive and strategically important aircraft at risk. In the wake of the Spiderweb attack, satellite imagery and intelligence reports have revealed that Russia has launched a comprehensive effort to construct protective shelters at no fewer than 14 military airbases across its western and southern regions, including major installations at Aktubinsk, Engels, Lipetsk, Kursk, and Crimea. These shelters vary in complexity, from lightweight netting structures meant to disrupt drone targeting and radar detection to reinforced concrete hangars designed to absorb blast damage and protect aircraft on the ground. The urgency and scale of this construction effort underscore Moscow's recognition that existing defenses are inadequate and that physical protection is now essential to preserving their air fleet. The Su-57 fighter jet, heralded as Russia's flagship fifth-generation stealth platform and a symbol of its military modernization ambitions, has been directly impacted by these vulnerabilities. Despite its advanced capabilities in air combat and stealth technology, the Su-57 cannot protect itself when grounded and exposed on airfields without sufficient shelter. The necessity to build shelters for such high-value assets reflects a failure in strategic foresight and planning on Russia's part, and it damages the perception of the Su-57 as a game-changing asset in the Russian arsenal. Furthermore, it highlights how Russia's military modernization has been hampered not only by Western sanctions and production issues but also by tactical innovations on the Ukrainian side that Russia was not prepared to counter. Beyond the direct tactical implications, this situation has broader strategic consequences for Russia's war effort. The need to divert resources, manpower, and time toward building protective infrastructure represents an additional logistical burden that strains Russia's already stretched military-industrial complex. Instead of focusing solely on offensive operations or consolidating gains in contested regions, Russia must now allocate substantial effort to defend its rear areas and critical assets. This shift effectively reduces Russia's operational flexibility and increases its vulnerability to future Ukrainian strikes, which may continue to exploit these gaps. Moreover, this development undermines the narrative promoted by the Kremlin that Russia's military is resilient and capable of overcoming any threat. The rapid adaptation by Ukrainian forces, leveraging cheap, accessible drone technology to achieve disproportionate effects, exposes the growing asymmetry in the conflict. Ukraine's success in striking far inside Russian territory challenges the perception of Russian invulnerability and suggests that Moscow's claims of military superiority may be overstated or obsolete in the face of new forms of warfare. The construction of these shelters, while a necessary defensive measure, is ultimately a reactive and costly step that signals a deeper problem. Russia is struggling to keep pace with evolving military technologies and tactics deployed by its adversary. Instead of maintaining strategic initiative, Russia finds itself reacting to vulnerabilities that Ukraine has exploited with ingenuity and precision. This dynamic places Moscow on the defensive, eroding morale within its armed forces and casting doubt on its ability to sustain prolonged military operations. The ongoing construction of Su-57 shelters and other aircraft protections at Russian airbases is a clear response to the vulnerabilities exposed by Ukrainian drone strikes. It represents a significant shift in Russian military posture from offensive projection toward urgent defense and damage limitation. This development reveals the increasing effectiveness of Ukrainian drone warfare in challenging Russian military power, forcing Russia to adapt under pressure and highlighting the critical shortcomings in Russia's air defense capabilities. Ultimately, it reflects a broader erosion of Russian military strength and undermines Moscow's claims of control and dominance in the conflict.